Alright, people, I'm here bringing you a Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle from the archives. Uh, this was just about after some time after my trip, I think, after I got back and I was like, oh, I want to try all these new mons, yo. And so I got a battle versus Pokemaster and Rolder for you guys. Unfortunately, I was trying to test recording on OBS, I think, in preparation for the UNPL and the Battle Hub Draft League. And for some reason, I don't know, I accidentally had the mic muted. So I completely lost all the audio version of my side from these battles. But I still have the video footage and I've had it for a while, but I figured I don't want to keep on hanging on to it. You know, I want to make room on the flash drive, so for a bunch of more battles. So I'm like, okay, let's get these re-recorded with some post-com, and then let's upload them. Pretty much the same team I'm going to use for both. I think I slightly changed it. But overall, I'm trying to use the, of course, Pheasant. Just look at that. All new Pokemon, except for Heatran, I guess, technically. We got the Ogerpon, we got the Tinted Lens Yon Mega, we got the Gliscor, we got the Conch. It's a good time. Pokemasters bring in some Sinnoh love. They've also got some newer Pokemon like Screamtail and Golden Go, and of course the classic Noivern. And yeah, should be a pretty good time. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really remember hardly anything that happened in this battle, so I'm gonna kind of be live reacting to what happens. So let's see what happens here. So the lead Golden Go, as I lead opposite day, pretty solid lead overall. The only problem is that Golden Go is floating with the air balloon, so that freaking sucks. And the Golden Go can hit pretty darn hard into me, but I feel like I can live a Make It Day. And usually Pokemaster doesn't run Scarf or Choice Specs. They usually run like Nasty Plot Recover. So I want to get rid of that balloon so that I can Earthquake and lay there. And sure enough, there's the classic Nasty Plot Golden Go. So I'm like, alright, I know I outspeed them. The Earthquake is going to be doing a lot more because it's Stab. The only thing is that +2 Make It Rain is absolutely going to destroy me. And I know that Apache can come in and probably Air Slash and do a pretty good amount with a Tinted Lens. I think here I want to say I go Heatran. You know, even though, I mean, it can take a Make It Rain, but they're probably just going to go for a Shadow Ball. As you can see, I have absolutely no switch-ins to Golden Go. So if I go Heatran on a Shadow Ball, I'm probably not going to take it that well. So I also do have Pheasantipity, who is another special wall, but it's not going to take a Make It Rain, obviously. So go Heatran, you see how much this does. As they actually terrestrialize, and I'm like, oh, good grief. They're going to try to absolutely destroy me on turn 2. Terra Ghost on top of that. So now they've got adaptability Shadow Balls over there with the ×2. So they are indeed going to go for a Shadow Ball, as I have absolutely no switch-ins to this. You know, this is what happens sometimes when you build a team of a bunch of mons that you want to use. Heatran takes that actually decently well, all things considered, when you think about the power of a +2 adaptability Golden Go. I'm going to protect just to try to get some free turns, I think, or I might just switch. I have to sack something off. I have to sack something off and get something in. But if I was me, I guess I just go ahead and go for a Stealth Rock. So I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll outspeed them, but Heatran's not going to because it's full special defense. It would need some speed to outspeed the Golden Go. So Heatran's just gonna die, and it's quite unfortunate. You know, I would love to have a Dark type, love to have a normal type, but as you can see, there is none. So the key thing about Golden Go is at least it's chipped, and it's relatively slow in the face of something like a Yon Mega. So I could Terra, but I'm guessing I'm saving the Terra for something else. I'm not sure what. I feel like I should have gone. Oh, I'm probably saving the Terra for my Ogerpon, you know, for the thumbnail. Of course, you gotta save the Terra Ogerpon for later. So they go Screamtail, as a Specs Bug Buzz should do a fair amount. Screamtail eats it up, as it's already neutral anyway. It's not going to get any boost from the Tinted Lens, and Screamtail is fairly bulky. This is clearly a special defensive wall on their side. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, my Poison Heal's already activated. I can go out into this thing, I can knock them off, remove their recovery, and then start setting up some spikes. The unfortunate thing is, though, that this thing gets rocks, and obviously Apache Helicopter is 4 times weak to rocks, and I don't think I have anything that can remove hazards on this team, unfortunately. Again, one of the cons of trying to bring a bunch of new Pokemon and use them all at once, which is what I've quickly discovered. Rediscovered, rather, because I realized this in Sword and Shield. Of course, trying to use all the new Pokemon from the DLCs back then, is that it doesn't usually work out. Usually put one Pokemon that you want to use from the DLC and build around that with a bunch of standard mons. You know, it's the standard set. You know, it might be cheap, it might be the coward's way out, but if you want to get some dubs, that's what you got to do. Because it opens yourself up to situations like this. You don't have to go full standard. You can use, you don't have to use freaking King Gambit and Iron Valiant. Just use decent Pokemon that fulfill their roles. That's the key thing, is filling out the roles of the team. So they're going to get off a Wish, actually, as I go for the knock. So pretty good turn for me overall. I removed their form of passive recovery. And now I can start getting up those spikes, because that Golden Go no longer has an air balloon, so if it comes in, it's going to take some nice spikes. I want that thing chipped, that way I could absolutely destroy it with a Bug Buzz. This is the perfect opportunity, however, for them to just go right back out into the Golden Go. That could have been scary for them, though, if I went for an EQ, but the thing is, they're pure ghosts now, so they're no longer weak to the Earthquakes from the Golden Go, from the Gliscor. So if 65 times 2 was 130 versus EQ 130 stab, or 150 stab. So Earthquake's still going to do more, but in this case, it's just not worth it. So if I wanted to, I could easily go out into the Ogerpon and get the Spadef boost, but I want to wait until the most opportune moment. I'm going to try to get this thing chipped down. That way, then I can kill them. They are going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. This is adaptability boosted. I am still able to live it, though. I do get a little bit of that Poison Heal recovery. And at this point, I think I make a little bit of a choke, because I think I remember what happened to him. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get some nice spikes. I think that that's enough damage for the adaptability Ivy Cudgel to be able to kill the Golden Go. They do end up going for a nasty plot here. As the question is, do I have 2 layers of spikes? Yeah, I have 2, so I'm going to go for the full 3, because I think, well, 3 layers is much better than 2 layers, I think, in terms of the overall calculation, because I think the first one's 12, the next one's 18, the next one's 25. So you get much more out of the first and the third than just the 2. Alright, so Gliscor is going to go down there. I'm thinking, okay, at least I've got my 3 layers of spikes up. So we're not looking too shabby here. Did they get rocks up? Oh, I guess they did. So I guess the Screamtail never got rocks up. I'm going to go in Terra. I'm going to get my Spadef boost here to be able to hopefully tank this hit. They are +2 now, but I'm hoping that with my natural Spadef, in addition to the Spadef boost that I'm about to get from the Embody aspect here in a second, that it will be enough. And this Ivy Cudgel is now adaptability boosted just like their Shadow Balls. So I'm going to try to do as much damage as I can to this Golden Go. As you can see, it is just not quite enough. I should have gone for that extra EQ. Should have calculated and seen how much it did. As they are just going to go for the Shadow Ball, and they get a crit. A critical hit, folks. You see, I thought, I was like, oh, I outspeed, and I certainly live a Shadow Ball. Probably not too well, but I should live it if I have +1 Spadef. But sure enough, they get a crit and knock me out. And I'm like, okay, well, that freaking sucks. But at least I still have my 3 layers. And I still have my Apache Helicopter over here. The thing is, though, that Ogerpon would have been really great versus the Infernape, as it would have just outsped it. It wouldn't have had a Sash. And if I would have OHKO'd the Golden Go with the little bit of extra EQ chip that if I went for it on the Gliscor, then the Ogerpon would still be at full. So either way, then to go out into Noivern, the Gourmet, and this kind of sucks because at this point now they are free to probably defog here, is what I'm assuming is going to come in. I'm going to go Pheasantipity just in case they try to drop a Draco on me. They should be faster. No reason why they wouldn't be. I'm not Scarf or anything. Not Speed Boost. So they do indeed go for the defog. So all that work that I put in trying to set up those spikes was for naught. So I'm like, crap. Well, nothing to do here at this point, but just try to go for a Moonblast. As you can see, I am down incredibly bad in this situation. I am at down 3 to 5, and it is not looking good for your boy. The only way that I can try to come back is with my conch to try to live a hit from everything. The only problem is that Screamtail is still very has a lot of HP, but it's not too bad because if I can bring in the conch hard in, I get the Flame Orb activated, and I'm hoping that maybe a Facade will be able to kill this thing, assuming that I can live a hit. Screamtail does not have very good offensive stats, so I'm hoping that this will be enough. So I'm just going to go straight for the Facade. I should live any hit this thing wants to go for, and anything switching in should die to this attack. So they are going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. Does a fair amount, but I am a Conkeldurr and they are Screamtail. And the Facade is able to take them out. As we saw, based on that damage, I believe, the damage from the Specs Bug Buzz, I was fairly certain they were especially defensive. So this fully offensive Facade Conkeldurr is easily going to be able to take them out. Now at this point, they still have, yep, there's the Noivern, who can simply come in and probably Hurricane me. But the good thing is I still have that Pheasantipity at full, so we can come in and take anything they want to go for. They've already removed my spikes, so not much else I can lose to this thing from. The next big problem we face is that Empoleon. Although I do have a Conkeldurr, like I said. If I can live a hit and I can Drain Punch it and then Mach Punch it back, we should be okay. So they are going to go for the Boom Burst. Pheasantipity, being the absolute Spadef wall monster that it is going to be able to tank that. They do get their Throat Spray activated, but I would hope that they would see that this situation is futile for them. I'm easily going to be able to the next one hit him with a nice powerful Moonblast. Not sure why I'm running Moonblast on this set. I probably just got back and I was like, I forgot that Pheasantipity's special attack is significantly lower than its physical attack. Its physical attack still isn't great. At least it's higher than base 70 or whatever. So they're going to go for this +1 Boom Burst now. Still have a pretty good amount of HP left, and I could easily roost that off. But as you can see, that Moonblast doesn't do anything. Play Rough might have not killed either? I'm trying to think. Because it's like 90 versus 95. 20 base, more physical attack. Probably would have gotten to the red, but it's fine though. I'm going to roost this off as Empoleon is going to come in now. I need to find a way to get in my Conkeldurr safely. So at this point, they could go for a Flash Cannon. The only thing is it's going to do a lot to me. And I know I need the HP on the Conkeldurr. I don't really need the HP on my Yanmega, because it's either going to die to Noivern or Infernape in one hit. But I can outspeed this guy and hit him with a Tinted Lens attack. It barely clings on, but I knew it could live one attack. I knew it could probably live one, and now I get to go for the Tinted Lens. Unfortunately, no Terra Tinted Lens. That Terra Tinted Lens might have killed, but it's not quite enough. Empoleon has a fair amount of natural bulk, and especially if they're running a some HP investment, probably should be able to live that hit. But now, I'm hoping I can come in with my my Conkeldurr. The thing is, though, if I go for a Drain Punch, I'm not going to get nearly as much HP back. So, I'm debating go for the Mach Punch. I probably should have seen. I'm thinking that they switch. I can't remember. But the thing is, if Empoleon goes down, then Pheasantipity is in a much better position. But sure enough, they do switch. I should have seen that coming, as they do go out into Noivern. I figured, though, if they did go Noivern, at this point, because it's so low, 2 Mach Punches should be able to take this thing out. And sure enough, 2 Mach Punches will be able to take it out. The problem is, I am getting chipped from the burn. And, at this point, I've only got this Conkeldurr and this Pheasantipity left. So that's no bueno for me, no bueno at all. So continuing to get chipped here. as I'm assuming that the Infernape comes in at this point. I would have to assume. Yep, there's Infernape, the Sinnoh champion. Nice, very nice, my friend. So, at this point, am I going to Mach, or am I... I feel like the place to Mach, right? Get some chip off, because I know I'm down here. There's no way I'm limiting attack. Pray for a crit, pray to do as much damage as possible, get rid of the Focus Sash if they have one. And then we'll see where we can go from there. They still have their Empoleon, and they still have... they haven't brought out the Sui and Lilligant once either. No, it's not like that could do much to Pheasantipity anyways. So still a pretty close game here. I'm pretty sure I'm calcing and I'm realizing that this situation is futile for me. There's no way even a Guts boosted Mach Punch kills. I bet a Terra Guts Mach Punch wouldn't even kill an Infernape full. It'll probably do a lot. It'll probably do a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. As, yep. I think Terra probably would have done like 95% or something like that. Maybe if I got a high roll, I don't know. They do get some Life Orb chip though, so if that was Terra, they might have died to Life Orb, but it's just not going to be enough for me. And at this point, they are probably just going to be able to knock me out here. I'm going to try to go for the Moonblast. If I can live a hit, I am a Pheasantipity at full HP. They're going to go for a Fire Punch Iron Fist boosted with a Life Orb. Flare Blitz might have killed, right? Because Iron Fist is only like 1.2, so it's not the strongest move in the world. 1.2 times 75 is 90 base power, which, you know, is solid for... It's basically a physical flamethrower. You don't have to worry about the recoil or anything. But now the Empoleon comes in. Pheasantipity should be faster here. And I'm going to try to roost up, I guess, and see how much their flash cannons do to me. Because if I can roost off more than the flash cannon does, then that would be solid. So they do need to go for the flash cannon here. See how much it does. It does a heck of a lot. I'm like, dude, this must be specs, right? I don't know, but I know it's super effective, but it only did half to the conk, and it wasn't AV conk. So I'm just going to try to go for the Heat Wave, do what I can. I unfortunately miss. And that is going to be it for my poor Pheasantipity here, as it is going to go down to the Flash Cannon. So that's GG's to Pokemaster over there. Close game. I should have definitely, like I said, I needed that chip from the Golden Go, for the Golden Go from the Gliscor, but that's alright. We live and we learn. And, you know, every loss leads to better team building in the future. So... let's get into the next one with Rolder. Alright, going up against Rolder, and they've got some favorites from the BHDL Season 1. They've got the classic Torkoal and the round 4, I can't think of the name even though I'm staring right at it. Round 4 Evolution of Deerling. Oh, Sawsbuck, that's right. And their Skeledirge too. Sawsbuck was the meme all throughout Season 1. Now the new meme is Conkeldurr. And I have the Conkeldurr right here. So, pretty much the same team, but as you can see, I've adapted it. First of all, I put on a faster Mon, so that I put on Dragapult, the fastest thing alive. And I fixed my Hazard problem, because now I have Iron Treads. Even though Hazards technically weren't a problem. They never got up a single thing versus me. But I think I realized it in the battle, and I felt self-conscious about it, so I wanted to fix that. So we're going to go in with Polton and Ironium Treads. They do lead off with their Torkoal, so I'm going to lead off with Opposite Day, because I want to get that Toxic Orb activated pretty fast. So at this point, I'm going to go for the knockoff Satin Flag, in case if I am able to stall out the turns of Sun. If they try to get him back up again, they're not going to do nearly, or they're not going to last as long. So they get up the rocks. Good thing is that we have the Iron Treads to be able to rapid spin them now. We're going to get our Toxic Orb activated. A Torkoal versus a Gliscor isn't the best situation. I actually go for a Spike. That's crazy. I guess I must have known that they were switching here, and they would bring out something that could resist DQ. So indeed, they do go out into their, what's it called? The Arboliva. Trying to bait me to activate the grassy terrain. I'm going to keep Spike stacking here, apparently. This thing could do a heck of a lot of damage to me. Although I wonder if it is Harvest. Now that I think about it, I should have probably thought about it being Harvest instead of the Terrain. Giga Drain does a heck of a lot. I mean, I know I'm a Gliscor, which doesn't have the best def, but good grief, man, that's a neutral attack. This goes to show how strong Arboliva really is. I mean, Giga Drain's only 75 base power if you think about it. So I'm gonna go Pheasantipity, the natural counter here. I'm gonna take a little bit of Stealth Rocks, but we do have the 2 layers of spikes up on the other side. So at least we have that for them to contend with. So, a pretty bad situation for Rolder in this case, as they cannot touch this Pheasantipity. So now I'm thinking, okay, what are they going to go out into? They're going to go out into something else. I'm going to take this opportunity to bring in my Iron Treads, as they should be switching here, because they can't do squat to me. And I'm going to try to spin those rocks away for the future. And then I also get my Quark Drive. So, Quark Drive activates here, as I'm hoping to see the switch. Yep, there's the switch right there. Trying to remember what they got into. I'm assuming a skill type, if they have one. Yep, there's the Heatran, indeed. So, great position. Once again, the only problem is they are air balloon. So, it's not actually a very great situation for me. So, I could Rapid Spin. I could also get up rocks, because this might be my only opportunity to get my rocks up. Because if I die here to an attack, then Iron Treads is gone. So I have to choose to either switch, get up rocks, or remove the rocks. And I'm going to choose to get my rocks up here. I'm like, okay, rocks don't really hit too hard into my team. They have some fire types on their team, so I would like to hit them with that. They do go for the Lava Plume. There's no way that Iron Treads is living a Lava Plume from a Sun Boosted Heatran. So down goes that. As now I'm trying to figure out, well, how am I going to beat this Heatran? I do have Override, but at the same time, I need to get rid of this dang air balloon. The only problem with that is, though, if I do that, then I'm going to lose Gliscor right here. So I can outspeed them. I'm going to go for the knockoff here, try to remove it. The only thing is, I'm going to die right here. So my ground type that would have OHKO'd this Heatran is now dead. Quite unfortunate. My 2 ground type, both dead. I don't know what I was thinking, folks. You know, in hindsight, I'm watching this back, and I'm like, why did I sack off my 2 ground types to Heatran? I do have Fiona, but it's in the sun, and it's Ivy-Cudgel. Oh, but I still have Stomping Tantrum. That must have been why. I was okay with it. I was okay with losing the 2 ground types because I knew I had Stomping Tantrum at the end, and I'll be able to take it out. I'm not sure if Rolder's willing to stay in here, though. Because even though my obvious water type move is weakened, exactly, they can't touch me. So probably should have seen that coming. But I can at least go for the Stomping Tantrum and see what they go out into. As they do go out into the Goodra, so this is still going to hit pretty good into them. As they are going to take the 2 layers of spikes and the rocks, so the Goodra's getting nice and chipped, which is great for me. So, although this battle is still not looking great, it's still looking better than I think it was versus Pokemaster. We once again have the Ogerpon set up. We're going to get that nice thumbnail picture. We've got the Embody Aspect boosting our Spadef, which is excellent. And now we can go for a nice big Stomping Tantrum into them. And that is easily going to 2-hit KO them. As now the sunlight's gone, and we have all those hazards up for that pesky Torkoal, so if it tries to come in, it's not going to take it well. If I'm me, I feel like, come on, brother, please tell me I SD'd in this position. Please! Well, is it necessary, though? Because they're just going to go, are they just going to hard Torkoal to set up the sun for the Sawsbuck? Nope, they decided not to sack themselves off, so we take out the Goodra, which is great. Opening up ourselves for the Ivy-Cudgel switch-ins. That is the thing about terastallizing, though. I wonder if I should have saved it, honestly. Because now they still have... I'm going to go Arboliva here. Because now I'm weak to Giga Drain and I'm weak to Sawsbuck as well. So that kind of sucks. But we still have the natural counter. We have the Pheasantipity. The rocks are permanently going to be up on our side. But at least, you know, we have rocks and 2 layers of spikes. That's pretty solid. That's like 30% chip every time, roughly. So I'm gonna take the pointed stones that go for the Giga Drain. I can go for a Roost here. It might invite the Torkoal to come in, but that thing's gonna take rocks and spikes. So, and it's already been chipped before, so I'm gonna go for the Roost here. As yep, there's the clear switch. As out comes Flannery. Yep, gonna set up the sun. Gonna take some more chip. The thing is, though, the sun is active on this turn, so that's the first turn of sun. So now they only have 4 left after this, if I can manage to remove this thing. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out in a Pult, because I know that they're clearly going to try to spin away these rocks. I want to keep them up. I don't care if they go for anything else versus me. My biggest goal is keeping these hazards up, because it can really affect their team. And sure enough, there's the Rapid Spin, and we are able to spin block with the Dragapult. And now, the only thing is, my Shadow Ball switch-ins, they have a lot. They have Sawsbuck and Arboliva, which freaking sucks. And they still have a freaking Heatran, dude. They still have that pesky Heatran, which can switch into my Dragon attacks. I'm going to go for it anyways to knock him out here. So after this, I believe there is only going to be a few turns of Sun left. This should have been the 3rd turn, so there should only be 2 turns of Sun after this, and we're good. So you guys can see why I wanted to remove that Heat Rock in the beginning. So this thing's going to come in. It's not Boots, so it's going to take those beautiful hazards. And at this point, I think I kind of underestimated the Sawsbuck. I knew that it got play rough, but I was like, well, I don't think it killed me. And I'm going to try to drop a Draco on him. And I think that was a pretty stupid idea on my part. Because clearly the Sawsbuck is going to outspeed me in the sun. And there was only a few more turns left, so I sacked off my Dragapult, which even though they had a lot of switch-ins to it, it was still the fastest thing on my team, and it could have done a lot of work. So, at this point, I'm going to go Override. And even though they're weak to my Mach Punch, the thing is my Flame Warp hasn't activated yet, so I'm very doubtful that I can kill them. But I can at least go for a Drain Punch. They can't go for the Play Rough. Look at how much damage that does. That's a freaking Sawsbuck. I don't know if they're banded or not. I don't know what set they were. But that seems like it does a lot. For a non-stab attack, it's kind of crazy. Because I feel like Sawsbuck's attack stat is not that great. As there goes the Harsh Sunlight. So yeah, I should have switched. I should have just gone Pheasantipity, honestly. Should have gone Pheasantipity. It's alright though. I got on a Liz. Who's Liz? It is the that pesky Skeledirge. Now, Conkeldurr is fairly slow. I'm going to try to go for the knockoff here. Grave mistake on my part, because almost every single Skeledirge I've seen in my life runs Terra Fairy. So, once again, like I said, still trying to shake off the rust at this point. I couldn't get myself to go for the Facade. I should have went for it, as they are going to go for the Torch Song, and because of my HP investment, I am able to survive. But clearly it's not going to be enough, as I am going to go for the knockoff. We did get rid of the leftovers, but I want to say, based on how much that knockoff did, I feel like a Guts Facade should have taken this thing out. So now I'm pretty much dead to this thing. I'm going to try to get off a little bit more chip at least, as they end up actually going for a slack off. So I had another opportunity to try to take him out, and I choke on it once again, as now I'm dead to my burn, which freaking sucks as well. So I'm like, okay. The one saving grace that I have is I have this Ogerpon here. And I'm not in a bad spot because, I mean, I've taken out their sun, so the Sawsbuck is super slow. This thing's freaking fast. I feel like I'm actually in a pretty good position here. So, question is, what do I go for? I'm going to go for the Ivy Cudgel. Should do a pretty good chunk. Ooh, barely survives, as it is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp. Oh man, that really sucks. I wonder if I should have SD'd, but then I could have let him Yeah, I really should have taken this thing out with Facade when I had the chance. So I'm going to go for it again. I'm going to try to finally take this thing out. The only problem is that they still have that Arboliva. So you guys see why I needed to take this thing out with the Conkeldurr. Because although I have Pheasantipity for the Arboliva, they still have the Heatran. Which again should have been gone a long time ago. But considering the fact that I have 2 ground types, but I sacked them off. So in comes Chico Miko. And I can go Pheasantipity all I want to, but the fact is I can't take this thing out. Because if I go for Heat Wave, it's just gonna allow the other guy, it's just gonna give them the Flash Fire. And if I mispredict, and if I go out an Ogerpon on this thing, and it goes for an attack, then I die and I can't touch it. So I really need the Conkeldurr for the end game here. They go for the Earth Power. Nice prediction on their part, as this Arboliva proves that it can indeed hit the Pheasantipity. It doesn't have to rely on just Giga Drain and all that. I'm going to try to go for the Heat Wave here. They predict correctly. They know that Pheasantipity is completely walled by Steel types. The only move that it has against Steel types is Heat Wave, and Heatran is the perfect counter to that. So, nice play on Rolder's part. The hazards are nice, but they are not going to be enough to take this thing out, as we do indeed give them the Flash Fire. And at this point, I'm pretty sure that I'm just going to concede defeat here. There's no way that I can win this with my burnt Pokemon. So that's going to be GG's to Roller. Very well played on their part. I definitely could have played better, but you know, I was still shaking off the rust at this point. I'm glad I got to finally show you guys these battles. A lot to learn from them. And yeah, it's going to be GG's. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.